then if I don't take the sweater off, then I...
Right, and then this is going to get in the way.
Oh!
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to curl it.
Well, I can tuck more of it in.
It doesn't usually work that well.
No.
When we
Oh, okay.
Because it's like, you know, like it has.
Lydia,
Yeah?
do you have someone zooming in from off-site?
What did Peter say?
Do you have somebody zooming in from outside?
Oh, I think so, yeah. So, you know your grad class email?
Yes.
Yeah, no, I said that I wonder if someone's gonna play off-site though.
Is somebody playing from
No,
away?
no, never. Not in, oh, tonight there will be,
Okay.
But not right now.
but not right now.
Okay, cool. Sorry.
Okay, so that will stay.
Oh, I see, no need to have big. Okay,
So
so,
this is fair.
yeah?
That's good.
Okay, and if I get hot, I can just flip it onto here, right?
Yes. You might want to put it slightly, just a little bit more. Yeah, like right over your neckline.
Oh,
Just like, yeah, that's better. That will sound better.
so the, okay.
Alright. You want to test that?
Sure.
Please?
Can you hear me? Do you want it like loud?
Yeah, no, you're on.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, loud.
Oh, right, I can
Okay.
hear it.
Alright,
I mean, it's like,
yeah.
oh, I don't, oh, oops. Oh, at least I don't have to scream anymore.
Are you also doing your class at the later part?
No.
During that? Okay, got it.
No, it's Steven, I think. Is Steven zooming in? So, but he hasn't said.
He hasn't told me.
Okay, so if he didn't, that probably means he's coming in. I just know that he had been at home doing all the other classes.
Yeah, no, a couple weeks ago he was at home.
Yeah, yeah. So if he hasn't contacted you, then he's probably coming in person.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll find out.
Yeah.
But thank you.
Okay, great, thanks.
Alright, looking forward to it.
Okay, so Jonathan, you want to go? You can sanitize your hands if you want to.
Okay.
And you don't necessarily have to.
I just washed myself.
Oh, okay. No, I mean you don't necessarily have to sit on that if you want.
Oh, it's okay. I'm fine.
Okay.
Not too much sanitizer.
I know you just have to keep rubbing it because it's.
So I'm playing the Schumann Symphonic Etudes, just up to Etude 7, because the rest isn't ready.
So I think that we could talk a little bit about what you have in mind in terms of character,
Okay.
and also dynamics within each. So, just try to go back to the beginning. Okay, so we could start from the beginning again. I have a question about your voicing.
I tried to bring out the tops. It wasn't as successful as I hoped for.
The what?
The tops in the right hand.
Yeah. I would think you need, beside the top, you also need the bottom, right? The top isn't so clear.
Yeah.
Can you try it again? Yeah, so your G sharp isn't the same as your C sharp in terms of quality.
Okay.
Now, I don't know that piano whether it's duller on the G sharp compared to the C sharp, but you would have had to, figured it out beforehand. I know you didn't get a chance to. Can you just try the C sharp and then the G sharp on its own and see if it's pretty much the same? Yeah, so the G sharp is slightly duller than the C sharp, which means that you would just have to strike a little bit more than what you want, because otherwise it would be different than the C sharp, right?
Right.
Are you rolling the left hand as well, or are you just rolling the right?
Just the right.
Have you tried rolling the left too?
No, I've never tried that.
Try it. It somehow creates a slightly fuller sound, and you have everything instead of. It's just somehow the bass seems to come too late with the. Yeah. Try it from the beginning again, and just the opening 4 bars. If you roll everything out, just to see if it sounds any different to you.
Okay.
I do think you have to let go. That was the other thing I was going to ask you about your pedaling. Some of them you just seem to pedal like 2 beats at a time. But I do think this one you have to change, or you have to let go, so that the G sharp is on its own to the second half of the phrase. Yeah, so that if you can make it more even. Yeah. So, one last question about the opening. The piano, what does that mean to you?
Like the dynamic piano?
Yeah.
Like sort of how I played it. Like I guess soft but rooting a bit.
Okay, because here's the only reason I'm and in this case, it probably just means not as loud as the forte. But there's also something about the register it's in, that how, I guess, dark and somber you want it to feel. And if you're slightly too quiet, then the sound is a little thin. piano, but enough so that we hear the depth of the sound. So can you try it again? I wouldn't actually just play so much louder, but I wouldn't worry too much about it being louder than you want it to be.
Okay.
Better? One last thing. When you have the tune, do you just hear it as chord, 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 chord? Okay, can you try a little harder for it to be leaner? Because it doesn't really feel good. It doesn't really feel like it's connected enough. This seems like in the way. It's like you're right where the wood is. Try again. Yeah, there's something odd about your pedaling as well.
I'm pedaling on the B sharp as well.
Yeah, but I don't think you will need to. The B sharp won't because you're basically taking your foot off to do this again, right? But I think you can try and keep the G sharp in your pedal, and then roll. So you don't need to do pedal change on the eighth note G sharp and then change again. But don't take your left hand off just yet. Yeah, so you hear there's like a tiny, tiny little hiccup when you do. So it would have been the same even when you had played because you would have had to roll the right hand anyways. I would just really think about how you connect it with the pedal and hold on to it for as long as you can. Because actually, how do you get from the F sharp to the C sharp?
You shift across like a jump.
Okay, jump! Can you hold on to, so after this, can you just put your third finger on the F sharp, then you actually totally connect it until you played it. Yeah. And then in that case, actually, it wouldn't matter if you change the pedal because the bass is actually held. So your hands are actually quite big.
Sorry?
Your hands are quite big.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because when I said free, I didn't mean that you just play that, and then I realized you can do that. I mean, for normal people, well, when my hand's smaller, think about it at the beginning. Okay, so I won't hassle you anymore about the opening 4 bars. Can you do it one more time?
Okay.
And then keep going. Okay, so I did promise not to hassle you about the opening. Are you getting louder and louder and louder through each chord, or softer and softer and
Like
softer?
I think later on it gets louder, so I have that in my head a bit, but I'm not making a particular effort to.
But because I'm wondering how you go into the A, right? So are you actually thinking? Which doesn't actually make a whole lot of sense. I mean, that's a little bit too much, but the idea is to, I would think, to go to the A, in bar 5, there's a big crescendo to forte, right? So you didn't want to do a whole lot at the beginning, but I do think it's the same, just not a big huge crescendo. But all the C sharp minor really needs to take you to here. Yeah. When you get to the top, it feels like so you get to here, but then you play the rest of it piano.
Yeah, it was a bit more than I wanted, but.
Oh, okay. So can you do a better diminuendo? You can tell exactly where the note starts to differ. It used to be very much the same too. Like you go up and then you figure all the ones that's dull, and then you have to remember which ones that are dull, and you play it a bit more. Okay, so keep going. Or so right? And then those three are pick up into the next one. Right? Yeah. So can you do the same? What are you doing in terms of pedal again?
Should I just
Yeah, just try that part. Keep going. And then? Yeah, so I think you have to make sure you cadence out here.
Okay.
And then if you left, it's okay. Because that belongs to the next thing, not what happened before. Yeah, can you have a slight break? So just take your hand off. Yeah, tiny. But the thing is, the E though belongs to the F sharp, right? Because you also want to delay the E, then it makes the rest of the bar really difficult. Yeah, because I do think you should open this. Like open the sound a bit more. Yeah, and then I think here, what is interesting is, right, those two voices. So it's the tenor with the alto and how it moves. So because it's basically moving in, right?
You mean with the soprano?
And then yeah, but can you make that one phrase? Because you're doing So that little crescendo that you see, how far does it go?
I think to the D sharp. Yeah.
D sharp or B sharp?
D sharp to me.
D?
It's what?
Because it just seems like you wow, this one is really uneven. And it just feels like exactly the same as what happened up at the top. Like you don't do very, so I can't really feel the shape enough. That's really what it is. And then all of a sudden, I feel like you lose all the sound. Right? And then so there's nowhere really to play this.
Okay.
Try it one more time.
So am I still going to the D sharp?
I would go farther into it.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's the same. Like I would almost go to here, right, in that first phrase.
Okay.
And then here, I would go here.
Okay.
And you were basically, you were backing away.
Okay.
Yeah, so here, because you have the lead in, it almost feels like there can be more. I mean, it's so low anyways, right? So that it actually will take you into a slightly bigger dynamic at the beginning of the tune before. Because then what happens is you're doing that and all of a sudden this is super loud. Right? Except you want to go dee, da, ya, da. You want to go to the soprano, right? Do the so they pick up the sound on the 16th as well. Yeah. Now you can play piano. But one tiny little thing, that was a better crescendo here because it took you to the dynamic you wanted in the bass. Otherwise, okay, so about the attacker.
Okay.
You saw it, right?
No, sorry, I'm using a different edition because I printed this early and then it had the wrong section that I didn't notice the last.
Oh, right, yeah, because he had different ways of putting the thing together too, right?
It wasn't just that, it was completely like differently.
Yeah,
done.
yeah, okay, so, okay, but.
I don't have an attacker, basically.
Okay, so but this one, you do see, so how would you go with the attacker into the next one?
Oh, never mind, I do have attacker.
So can you play the last couple of bars? Or just the last bar? And then, can you turn the page and then play the last bar? I mean, turn the page and then play the last bar, yeah. Do you need the break?
Not necessarily.
But you also have a pause on that eighth note. I mean on the half note, right?
Like on the last note? Like the fermato or?
Yeah, you have a fermato, right?
Yeah.
So, what's happening on the fermato? In your head with the chord?
It's drifting off.
It's basically going to resolve to the C sharp, but in the meantime, is the sound in your head getting softer? Like, is there a diminuendo on this in your?
No. Yes.
Well, no. It was just supposed to be what was in your head, not what you think I think should be in your head. So, because I think that's how you can judge how you start the next variation, right? Because fermata basically means you can sit on it, but attacca means you should keep going without a break, really. That's what it says, right? So I would think that if you, and obviously, because you had a crescendo in, right? So in the meantime, if it's decrescendoing in my head to this, then I know exactly when I want to play this without you actually feel like you have to clear the pedal and then start, right? Okay, so forget that, and you can work on that. Just start variation one. Okay, so I feel like like the notes are clear, yeah, but I don't feel that you're actually going to like in each of the bars, and also this is kind of like a march, right? So the rhythm has to be really tight, but it feels like your hand is loose. Yeah, so so you basically have to stay really close to the keys and work super hard. But then you have to keep going. Yeah, do you know that the D sharp, it's always softer than the C sharp? That one was the best one out of all of them. So the sound was great, the phrase was great, right? So then you're gonna have to then pick it up with your right hand, right? And then just do me over 4 bars. And a bit more. Yeah, so this was great in that it had a bigger phrase, like a longer phrase till bar 5. And don't forget that each time it comes in, you have to kind of pick it up sound-wise from the bar before. You do have to bring that out a bit more than you want. Yeah, because otherwise because we're so tuned into the march, right? And there's a lot going on. And the one note, they never really sustain long enough. And it's not as if you could put the pedal down, right? So you're gonna have to compensate by playing just a bit more. You just try that bar. Yeah, but then the question, so it's the same. I think you really need to think slightly more on each instead of slightly less on each. Okay. Yeah, now can you just go from there, both hands? Do you have a piano at the top, or you don't?
The very top?
No, where you finished. It's just.
No, I have.
Oh, I see. It's just one. Okay. It's fine. Mine has.
Oh, I have a piano the second time it happens, at the very end.
You mean at the end?
Of this.
Okay.
Yeah.
So can you keep going then? Second section. Does it tell you how long the writ goes for, or does it?
It says up to the theme.
Oh, it does say that.
Yeah.
Okay, so can you pace it out? Because it sounds like you're doing dee da dee da and then you speed up a bit, and then you slow down again.
Okay. Yeah, kind of just doing what I want.
Yeah, so I think if you actually think about the movement of the left hand, then it will make you want maybe to do more. I would just be very hesitant to do all the rit in the first, right? In the very first 3 beats. Yeah, and then the same here. Even there, the theme was kind of lost the first time you played through it.
Okay.
Yeah, can you just try from there?
From
Just go like the last 4 bars. Yeah, I do think you probably have to take your pedal off with the first loud one, so that you don't pedal through and then play this quiet, because we won't hear it. So go, yeah, da da dum ba dum, and then yeah, because the time, if you need any time at all, it would be just before the piano, because you just need the forte to clear a bit, right? Okay, so it felt like you play the next one a little slower.
Oh, really? Okay.
So you're going dum ba ba dum ba. Can you play the next one?
Okay.
Wait. So you're going 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Okay, wait. Do you get what I'm saying? So.
Oh, like.
Okay, but so then the thing is, because he says andante, right, for the theme, so that's the slowest. So yes, the Etude 1 or Variation 1, it's in poco più vivo, so it's a little bit faster, right? So, but once you get there, do you have any other marking other than marcato and there's
Espressivo, but that's it.
There's no.
Espressivo, that's it.
What does it say? Oh yeah, that's all it says, right? Because there's no dynamic, no tempo change in this one at all. So your tempo was 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So 1, 2, 3. Wait, 1, 2, 3. Okay, so obviously this is just, it's just emotions in some ways, right? So, but you were playing this so much slower. And anyways, when you come into, maybe if you actually just follow the left hand, because the new melody is at the top, right? So you were actually just working too hard on this. So in this one, when you practice, had you practiced just the top and the bottom? Yeah. I would just keep doing that, and so then that just slots in and gives you the feeling more than anything, right? Okay, so in the second section, the tenor line, you have accents and it says non-legato. It doesn't say non-legato.
It doesn't say free.
But it has accents, right?
It has accents.
Yeah, so I would punctuate them a bit more. The other thing too is that when you start the octave, it's actually, the crescendo only starts there, right? So you have to be careful that just because it's low, you can't enjoy it too much. So save some of the crescendo to the end until the theme comes back. Okay, The next one, the etude 3, your right hand was fantastic. Yeah? So your left hand though, can you think more, like just shape the tune how you want it to? Yeah, but you would go, there would be some direction, right? Yeah, so you know the crescendo? I know he wrote it in the bass, but I'm pretty sure he meant. But you know that when you play, it comes out. And the same with. So all I was thinking was in etude 3, you need to just, because that's where the freedom and the movement is, right? So your right hand, it's going to have to play with how you want to phrase the left, yeah? And at the moment, now that I feel like you've mastered the right hand, then just really focus on the melodic part of it and how you want it to move, yeah? And in the second segment, I do think you have to think how when you get there that you pass it back to your left hand. Yeah? Can you just try that? Yeah, so that whatever you have done, so it's basically, can you play, don't play the left hand here, just play right hand and then left hand. Yeah, but play yeah, but can you make it like one thing so that the top is in the middle? Yeah, so that these two would basically be the same. Yeah, so, and I'm pretty sure you don't want me to hear, right? So you just want me to hear one thing? Yeah, right? So when you go to change position, you just have to figure out, you have to just remember the sound of the A and then follow it through with the F sharp. Okay, so we actually have to stop. But I have a couple of more questions. The next one, are you intending to play, is there any dynamics in your music at all?
There's a bunch of sforzandos.
But that's just it, right? A bunch of sforzandos. It doesn't actually, so are you intending to play it loudly or softly?
I think loudly.
Okay, I couldn't really tell.
Okay.
I did hear a lot of sforzandos,
Okay.
yeah? But the sforzandos, it's really to let us hear the imitation, I think, especially when you do, right? But I'm not sure we need to hear it the same in every bar.
Okay.
So whatever you decide the shape of the phrase, that will be the sforzando, right? I would try and practice it a few times. You ever play their hands together?
Like when I.
Yes. Right? I mean, it's interesting. I mean, sure, sometimes you don't have the full chord, but it's basically, and see how you would shape it, right? And then it's basically the same shape, but not hands together, which means that the shape will always be slightly off between the two hands. The next one, it felt like it was too loud for scherzando. Yeah? And because then what happens is that what I missed then was the crescendo to forte in the second section. Do you have that? Do you have that?
Yeah.
Yeah. So then those become much more explosive, right? Compared to the beginning. So that was the other thing about the first section. The next one, your left hand is great, except I don't hear any right hand. Yeah? So you really need to lighten anything that's not the theme in both hands. Yeah, because then the left hand was so clear, except it didn't feel like the right hand was chasing after the left. The next one, what are you doing in terms of pedal? Can you do what it says? So you have to come up here. Yeah, that's so, the register themselves, it's so much clearer when you do that. Otherwise, it feels like you're just trying to blend everything in together. And I do think there could be a slight difference between when you're lower than when you're higher. And you are trying to keep that you do, like so that you figure out how you're going to shape through that, right? Okay, good. That was the thing. If you can just think a bit more about exactly what you want us to follow. Because I do think you know what you want to follow, but it's just not quite clear enough to us. Okay, good.
Thank you very much.
Hi. I'm going to do Opus, the second movement. Opus 28.
Yeah, but sometimes you have to shake it so that it gets down to the bottom. not sure I 100% agree with your idea of this. But I can just tell you what I think, and then you can dismiss it. The very opening, okay, so I appreciate the whole finger thing where you try, right, how you try to connect that. What's the left hand for you?
It's like a deep, like grumbling, like undertone kind of melody.
Well, I meant, okay, so if we did it orchestrally, and this is, let's say, a string quartet, what is the bass?
A cellist.
Yeah, but what's the cello doing?
Pizzicato.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Now, so the one thing is, pizzicatos, they would never play, because that's basically what makes it hard about pedaling, right? Do you play a string instrument or you don't?
No.
Me either. I used to play the violin, but really, really badly. But I can imagine myself playing it. So can you play the left hand and just imagine you've seen cellists before, right?
Yeah.
Just imagine you're the cellist.
I guess I was kind of thinking of it more as a bowing, but a quick bowing.
As a what?
A bowing, but like a quick
Oh, okay.
bowing.
So I do
I
think
think
it's pizzicatos at the beginning. It changes to bow.
Yeah.
Right? So I don't think the beginning is I don't think it's kind of detached bowings. Can you try that? But the thing about pizzicato though is that there's a slight there's a ring at the end of it, right? Can you try that? That's it. Yeah. So basically, you're very close to the keys, and it just feels like you're doing that. By the way, those were all great except for the first A that you played. It didn't quite pitch the same way. And you know the thing about pitching, not that I really know, I don't think you can pitch fast or slow. Unless, I mean, there's Bartok pitch, and that's completely different. But I'm pretty sure it's pretty constant, right? So the gesture should be pretty much the same. Yeah, okay, so now the thing is, can you play the right hand and do that in your left hand? That's really what it is. If you can feel that now. You are substituting fingers and everything. It just doesn't feel linear enough. But this one, I would just lift, right? But this is really hard because when you play the chord, I see that you're connecting with the fingers, except though it feels like you're playing chords. Instead of just taking that one line that you have with your finger connecting and think totally linearly. Can you overlap the fingers the tiniest little bit? Yeah, it's really hard. It's like I could totally see what your brain was thinking because your brain was going. So this is what it's, because you figured out the finger, but I'm not 100% sure physically that you know exactly which that it's the middle of the chords that you want to connect.
You're right.
Yeah, so work on that. That would help a lot. Now, so by the same thing that I was talking to Jonathan about, do you ever practice you do that, right? Because you know, once you get it in your ear, then it should be hard. I'm not sure that, I guess I could do, but maybe that's actually more useful. Yeah? Okay. So this is where so this was good because then he plays long. So this, yeah. So I do think that that's where he goes into bows. And then it's pizzicato. Okay, now can you play me the second section? Okay, now here, the thirds that you play in the right hand, do you always separate? Or do you try and connect them somehow?
I think I'm just connecting them in here.
Can you just try, can you try the right hand? Ah, but you can't hold on to the E because the E is the one that you have to repeat. So hold on to the C sharp. Yeah. And then da dee. Yeah. Yep. Yep. So hold on to the C sharp. Right? Now, one thing though. So he said the only way you could do that is really through you know the little hairpins? So, because obviously you're not going to be doing anything because you're not a string player. So can you give us the feeling of the, in the left hand a little bit? Yeah, that's the idea. Yeah, so you have to work it. I mean, there are a lot of tiny, tiny little markings, right? And so if you go, so, and I wouldn't go faster here. It's almost like you're pleading for something and you do want to go ahead, but something's holding you back. Yeah? Okay, now, so of course your life, right? It's even more difficult. Okay. The middle section. You thinking of a completely different tempo?
Did I play it at a completely different tempo? I guess I did.
Sounded like it was completely different tempo. Was that what you had in mind? Or you were trying to play the same tempo?
I wasn't really focused on
You what?
matching the tempos. I hadn't thought of actually.
Oh, you hadn't thought about it.
I was kind of just trying to play it like each section the way I kind of felt, but without kind of.
Oh, okay, wait. But then it's the whole movement. So you have to make, and I do feel that this is hard. Yeah, I do like your tempo because the hardest thing about finding the right tempo is that you can't be too fast and you can't be too slow. That's the thing. It has to be fast enough so that the 30 seconds you can feel the shape and that it flows, but it doesn't feel hurried. So the opening tempo I thought was quite good, but then that's 2. that's all. And so then sometimes people go, wait, but I don't have enough. Like it just feels like you don't have enough notes to play in order to play it at that tempo. So really what it is that how can you make it just connect as a whole, right? So it feels to me the middle section, it's basically more playful, right? Now, so if you go, so you see a staccato note, a staccato on every note. If I said to you, you can only jump once, where would the jump be in those bars?
If I jump like one staccato.
Yeah.
Maybe.
You would go there?
Let me think.
It's a tricky question because you probably have no idea what I'm talking about because you're probably thinking, wait, because every note has a staccato, which means that I have to jump on every note. So what is she talking about? Because one of the things that looked hard to me when you were playing was that when you were playing staccato, your hand looked very high off the keys, yeah? And you were playing staccato, which is kind of what normally people do, except, do you think of staccato as coming from the air or from the keys out?
I guess keys out.
Yeah. Right? So but then that means you have to stay close to the keys though. So can you just play me? Yeah. Yeah, but you're still not really, because keys out means you have to go, yeah, right? So now, so what I meant was even this, how do you play that?
Like how am I playing it?
Yeah. Okay, why do you use the pedal?
I think of it as like a soloist and then like the orchestra kind of responding.
Yeah, so that's when I think that you just need to be a bit clearer as to what it is that you want. I'm not sure if he wants, yeah. I mean, yes, you have. And then one person plays. I don't really think that it's, that you should use the pedal. I do think that if you want, maybe if you hear it longer, that's fine. But except I still think you can hear short and then the loud one. So what I meant was, when I was watching you, it just felt like you were jumping. It worked much better if you were much closer to the keys. Now, the one note that you do have to jump, it's this one. Because in order to get from here to here, you actually have to jump to get there. So can you try that so that everything is close except for that one? Dum, ba-dum, yeah, da, da, da. Yeah, because that's what takes you there, right? Because if you don't actually, so then the question is, when you play this, do you think about that? Right, because that's where you need to get to. Yeah. Even though you think, well, I have a rest, except the rest is only like 30-second notes. So when you play this one, that's what I meant by jump, as to then you're gonna jump to prepare for the next set and you're already there, right? Not that I want to interfere, but it's just a question. So you sat down, you adjusted the bench, and obviously we all adjust the bench to the height that we want, right? So what makes you feel the most comfortable in the height of your chair?
I guess being kind of above the keys.
Yes, because you are for sure above the keys.
Yeah.
Yeah. How does that make you feel more comfortable?
I don't know. I'm just, that's what I'm used to.
Okay. Especially, you know, like when you have the tune and stuff, and you want to feel the bottom of the keys, it feels to me like the lower basically the lower you sit, the more you have to think about playing up. So the middle section will help you a lot because you actually won't be able to do that, because if you sit low, you'll have to put your elbow up so high that it won't be comfortable. So you'll be
I guess sitting lower for me, like I can't like lean on my legs as much.
Oh, yeah.
I kind of like want to almost stand.
Yeah, but I think just be careful that you don't end up doing or keep doing that. Yeah. That was the one thing about this the middle section, is that I do feel very strongly that it's exactly the same tempo. Yes, you can fool around with it, but if you're going 1, 2, and 1, and 2, and 1. So even if you wanted to, you could. They don't have to be completely even, because it depends on how playful you want to be, in that they have its own character, right? I have one thing, you know this one? What fingering are you using there? In bar 29? Sorry, do it again? Yeah, because it didn't look like it. So that's the other thing, was that yes, you were playing slur into, but it didn't feel like that it was actually slurred. So could you relax your wrist on, but relax your wrist as in make it closer to the keys, not farther. Yeah. Yeah. Basically, that's what you wanted to sound like. You were going, even though you had the fingers down, it didn't really sound dead, because then the next one, then it's super legato, right? Okay, now, then the beginning comes back. Can you, in the crescendo, it sounds to me like once you see the crescendo there, around 49, then it's just louder, 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 louder. Except I'm not sure that that's the case. So when you go, and I think even if you want to get louder, I'm not sure it ever gets to forte. Until the times that he gets you there. Yeah? Can you try me this? From there, from 47? Yeah, so one thing in the top, that's staccato. For me, finishes the I mean, that's how I hear the phrases, obviously without the stop, so that it's not so they don't push you off, they finish.
Yeah.
Can you try that? Yeah, but don't slow in though. It's really just kind of rephrasing it all in your. Oh, wait. How do you. What do you do here?
2 and 2.
Yeah, great. Then you can do that. And then after that?
4 to 2.
Yeah, why don't you, if you're, what did you say, 1 and 2? And then you slide down on your 2, set your second finger? Yeah, okay, so then, why don't you just use 2, 3, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1? Yeah, it's just anytime you don't have to switch over, it will make it so much more smooth.
Yeah.
Okay, one thing. Can you play me bar 90? 69, sorry. When you get to bar 70, the second half of the bar, can you just think that I only 2 notes for one of the ones in the left hand? Yeah, I don't know if it was a memory thing, like the first time through, but all of a sudden it just felt like you thought, oh my God, 30-second notes. Yeah, but then it's really just play 2 to every one of these, right? And because it's so steady, then it's easy. Okay, can you, and this was the other one where you go, I don't think for me that actually goes to forte. And if you want to go to the C natural, then I do think it's a natural diminuendo to the bottom. And then it takes you back up, right? So that you kind of do a dim and then it takes you back up.
Like a dim from.
Yeah. It felt like you were getting louder and louder and louder to the bottom.
Yeah.
Because then I think in this whole page it really doesn't let you get to fortissimo until you go. Okay, can you just do me from 89? Okay, can you do a crescendo? Oh, and then don't forget to change from triplets to 16ths.
Yeah.
Yeah, but there is a crescendo here, so that's what I meant. Keep going. Yeah, so the G comes too early for it to be a 2/16. Okay, so the 2 notes, you're going to have to be softer on the second one and release, right? Not necessarily. Yeah, just give me a little bit more bass, you'll find it much easier. Yeah. So it almost feels like you're about to finish something, and then it's either like, I guess you can imagine it to be something you forgot to say to us, and you just want to go, oh, and then it comes back. One last thing. If you video yourself, your movement from one to the other, it's so slow. I mean, you don't have to move super fast, obviously, because then that makes it too fast, but this feels very slow to me, that you're barely just there in time to play. For me, I'd like you to be over the top of the note before it's that beat, yeah? And so it's the same as the middle when I was talking about that you use that one to prepare you for the next thing, yeah? Okay, good.
Hi everybody, I'm playing the first movement of Chopin Sonata number 3. Thank you.
play it a lot over the summer too? Or oh no, you didn't because you didn't have a piano.
Yeah, I didn't have it now.
Yeah. Had you played it a lot before your audition?
Yes, I was playing that last year. Playing this one last year.
Yeah. So did you? But how long did you have it before?
The audition?
Yeah.
A semester.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And so then, when you picked it back up again, what did you want to do differently?
I think I should bring more nuances and like a little bit more freedom because before I was sort of.
Okay. Yeah. But how are you gonna find the freedom?
Well, playing around with timing and all that.
Yeah. Did you say anything else besides freedom?
Nuances like.
Nuances. Yeah. Okay. What about because you can play the piano. That's not the issue. It sometimes when it's loud, it sounds very thick to me. So then I kind of get lost in the volume of it, and I can't quite figure out how you want to voice the chords and what you want me to listen to. Yeah. So just try the beginning again. I'm sure you want that feeling of my still so, right? So then the question is, how loud do you have to play in order for me to get it?
Yeah, it's pretty hard to tell in this hall because a lot of times I'm worried that I'm not loud enough because like I feel like when it's
I see.
sound
Yeah.
it goes
So
away.
and I think
So
you so then you get used to it as well. Is that this piano actually carries, it's actually much brighter than it used to be, but it carries in the hall really nicely. So you don't ever have to force to get anything out. Even, and part of it too, it's because even with the lid down, the lid is still over the soundboard, right?
Yeah.
I mean the pin, so that you can't hear quite as well. Just start the opening for me again. Okay, so one funny question. The opening, da-da-da-da-dum. Do you want it to be very articulated, or do you want it to be more smooth in terms of?
More articulate because I think the maestroso feel. I wanted.
But I think the maestoso, it's really the chords, right? It's not so much. Oops. Yeah, I'm not sure you need to feel da-da-da-da. It just feel. Can you feel like how it moves towards the F sharp? Da-da-da-da-da. Yeah. You know, there was a funny story. Is that during COVID, did you hear Martha Argerich play this?
I actually didn't. I really wanted to, but I forgot. But everyone said it's amazing.
Yeah. So it was really interesting, right? Because people kept saying, "Oh, did you hear it? Did you hear it?"
Yeah.
And for the longest time, I didn't hear it. And so then one day I had time, and I've always loved Martha Argerich's playing. And for me, she's a crazy woman who does this, and she never misses.
Yeah.
Right? So I listened to it, and I thought, oh my God, like it just felt so human.
Oh.
Yeah, I mean, it's a really weird thing to say.
Yeah.
It just felt so sensitive and just so human, and it felt so free. And then and I thought, oh, and then she got to the end, and all you want to do is like do that and scream, but of course there's nobody in the audience, so it's kind of like she got up and then left. And then somebody said, oh, she actually gets really nervous.
Yeah.
Normally, right? So then I thought, oh, so basically, it was actually she loved not having anybody in the hall. But the interesting thing, so somebody said she went.
Oh yeah.
And then it was like, because a friend was saying, oh my God, I used to worry about slipping off that note all the time. And she takes it with her left hand. But of course, she hears it such a way that it wouldn't have mattered.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was the story. But I really like that the way you set up the F sharp this time. And so I don't think it needs to be that articulated, the 16th note. Okay. Yeah. So try it again. Good. So now can you relate the B to the F sharp? So is that what you want to do phrase-wise?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I keep going.
Yeah. So, but it sounded like you were going, and then the B was much louder than the F sharp. But because you don't need it, right? There you go. Does that feel like it's not enough sound?
A little.
Okay, but what it sounds like though, and I do think it's plenty of sound because you're actually, the character that you had, it's in your outer voices. Yeah. So that, but what's very clear, it's the voicing. I don't feel like everybody's trying to fight for their spot. Like sometimes they know where they should be, yeah. Right? Okay, so do that and then keep going. When you do this, when you go, actually it was here. Did you want to just let your pedal go on the rest so that it feels like so that you take a quick breath? By the way, okay, this is what it sounds. When you're doing the second one, are you doing it more than the opening?
Not really. Well, maybe.
No, but is that what you want?
I wanted to have more resistance there, like this, like it's harder.
Oh, okay, because it sounded like you wanted to play more, right? So then that also then go back to the very opening that you can't really be more than what you had started with this time, because otherwise you're gonna run out, right? Okay, so can you just do that again? I just wanted those couple of breath marks to kind of delineate the phrase somehow, so it's not so run on. Okay, after this, can you now then really give me piano? Yeah. The sequence, what are the notes that you want me to keep track of? What about can you give me that too? Because I do hear the, yeah. So it wasn't so much that you had to play it louder, just so that, because it's actually easy to get to the bottom, but on the other hand, it's really interesting how it moves, right? Just that you want to do it, it will come out anyways. Yeah? Do it one last time. Great. So when you get to the B flat, what is it that you want me to feel? Like, I guess what I'm asking is that because the one before it's an A sharp, can you make me feel that it's B flat?
Okay.
diminuendo. Okay, so then the thing was, were you getting more and more because it was somehow easier to get more grounded into the keys? But then it got really thick.
Yeah.
Yeah. So either you're going to have to lessen something. So that because what were you gonna do once you were gonna get softer and softer and softer, right?
Yeah.
So that you can So then somehow if you can take that into it so that it's a 2-bar thing. Yeah. Way better than the first time, because the first time, you know, your left-hand chromatics completely overwhelmed your right hand. So in some ways, how much are you holding back the crescendo in the left hand?
A lot more after knowing that I was loud.
Yeah.
So I was really concerned that I was too soft.
Oh, yeah. No, because I think the thing is, because you don't really want just, because the hard thing is, it's not as if you can change your pedal a lot, because those notes have to be held, right? But do you just want mumble here, or do you want a bit of clarity?
I didn't really want clarity. I just really want the progression.
Yeah, but the thing is, I do think you want to hear a bit of clarity up, right? So you really don't have to think about crescendo until about the last 2 beats of every single one.
Okay.
Now, the thing is though, when you get to the first one, what dynamic are you at here? Because especially if you want me to hear that.
First, probably.
So like, are you getting more and more as you? Yeah. So then be careful how loud the. Yeah. Okay, just try that again, because this was all good and I can hear this, right? The only thing I didn't really hear, I didn't hear you finish the alto voice. Yeah. Oh, but then I need the top too, because I need you to go to the A first, and then don't forget to finish, and then go back up. It's very busy here, right? It's like, oh my God. The dynamics here, because you technically don't, at 29 though, it's only forte and not necessarily fortissimo, because you still have more to go. Yeah. So okay, so then just keep going. A little clearer, but make me really hear the da di da di da 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 da. Quarto addition say here dynamically at like around 35 or so? Does it say anything?
No, nothing.
Oh.
So I guess still forte?
No, because I have actually a diminuendo in the middle of 35. And then get less and less and less.
There is a
Yeah, so then because it felt like you were aiming for the last one.
Yeah.
You know, this time it was much clearer. The 16ths didn't get in the way of the top. And especially when you get, I can't play this. Same thing. Make sure when you get to the end that we can still hear the B flat in relation to right? And that the 16th note, they don't overtake dynamic of the top. So here, how much more singing can you make the so can you do it again? Just two things. When you go can you feel how the rest plays into the theme? And also, you know when you do this, can you give me that? Yeah, did you change the pedal in the... Okay, so by the way, the theme, that's great. In the hall though, and on this piano, it sounds like your right hand isn't quite loud enough for the left here. Yeah, so then that's just something you have to be aware of when you're playing, how much more you need just so that the left hand doesn't get too loud because the left hand's so busy. Right here, do you have any markings at all in your music at the end of bar 60?
Crescendo?
Yeah, I always wonder, because I know a lot of people do that, and then they come back, but you ever thought about how the left hand just kind of opens, and then really want you to give me whatever you've opened to.
There's a hairpin to that crescendo.
Yeah, but you have... Yeah, so it feels like, you know, so that I still think the way you play the theme was really nice, right? And so you've come with the... It almost feels like when you get here, you can just kind of stay in that sound and atmosphere that you have created. It doesn't necessarily need to come up and down a lot. And then when you do, it's almost like this, it's when you come, then you get to the next level. But it's only about mezzo piano. Then you can keep building to the forte. You just try that from like 57. Because then this becomes a 4-bar phrase instead of 4 bars and then another 4 bars, right? I did have a question for you. When you finally got to 65, do you go, so for the top, is it that or is it this?
What?
Yeah.
I take a little time there.
Yeah. So then I think musically, when you finally get there, just really take it through musically.
Yeah.
Because technically that should be louder, no?
Yeah.
Yeah. And it has an accent on it, right?
Yeah, it does.
Yeah. And just because it's lower, I think it gets shortchanged.
Yeah.
Yeah. Top? Stay quiet. Now only crescendo here. Yeah, because I think it's the same with like 66, 67. You don't have to do much because you've had this kind of long phrase build up. So for like 3 bars, you can just stay there because it's about to come. You know, you're about to do a crescendo again. Just do it one more time from 66 or something.
Sorry, I don't have.
Yeah, just anywhere. Yeah, you could just do. The left hand, how it goes, right? Don't get louder than what your right hand is willing to do.
Yeah, that was too loud.
Yeah, I mean the whole lead. This was nice, and so I'm not sure whether the piano is really uneven, or whether your sound's really uneven in the way that you're following the tune. So just be careful that you know where you want every melodic note to be. Yeah. Okay, just do that because I just want to do a bit of the development section. So you want to do the lower octave more than the upper octave?
Yeah.
Can you make it less, like so that you just enjoy the fact that it's the lower octave, but not necessarily so much louder, except I do think you have to articulate more when it's down there though.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's enough. You don't really have to. So because you need to start articulating those to set me up for all this in the development. Now, the thing was, you brought them all out, and I knew exactly where they were. But I just didn't know in the big scheme of the phrase which one was the most. I assumed that each one got more and more and more until you get to the forte, right? So be careful what dynamic you start with at the beginning of the development section. Yeah, so then that's better, right? So when you're doing this, You get here, hands together in unison, and that's where the forte is. That's basically the rest of it was the beginning. I mean, the development was really well played. It was just sometimes it got a bit thick, especially when you started it. Yeah, and all the chords, just think that you need the top, and then the left hand 16ths just need to be slightly more clear.
Mm-hmm.
There was one thing, talking about freedom, can you try somewhere around 125? Yeah, do you have any dynamics there?
Piano.
Do you have a pianism?
Actually, well, it's pianism.
Yeah, is there any way, you know the way your left hand is? Just give me that so that I get a feeling of diminuendo to a pianissimo there instead of it just being a continuation of what you played. Yeah, it's really hard, right? Because it actually just feels like something that you've played over and over, except there must be something about the color being different there. Yeah, so then that's the idea, right? And then that's the only other thing, because I think they should have a break. When you get to, you know this section? Can you just make sure, I know this is such a tiny little thing, whatever pedaling you use, can you make sure that you finish this and not just pedal it through? The one last thing is the very end, it was somehow too loud for too long. I know you want to keep giving me the tonic pedal, but somehow layer it, yeah? And this, I want to know when you do this, do you feel the distance between these?
Yeah.
Huh?
No, not really.
Can you try just the end? So when, now feel. Yeah, so, because you are jumping, right? So it would be nice actually. Yeah, how you feel each of the, yeah. That will take you all the way up without you just feel like you're blindly jumping, except you're connecting always from the last one. Yeah?
Yeah, that
Good.
helps a lot.
Yeah.
Well, since too abrupt.
Yeah, it just felt like you got so excited, and then it was so great, and there was so much sound, but then it was like too much sound.
Yeah.
Okay, great.